Tech YouTube has the tendency to heavily focus on trying to get people to buy the newest and greatest things. And a lot of people, myself included, fall victim to the hype of constantly trying to achieve the perfect setup, instead of focusing on the things that actually matter for both improving your games and also prioritizing your health. This is extremely common in the world of cameras and is oftentimes referred to as gear acquisition syndrome. I have quote-unquote struggled with this for a while, but I managed to at least stop doing it in regards to my gaming setup. I wanted to quickly make a video discussing some of the setup choices that I think are worth spending more money on in order to ensure that they last as long as possible. If you have unlimited money, click off this video, but otherwise you will eventually be forced to make some choices. So I want to briefly and very bluntly cover some particular setup upgrades that I believe matter versus ones that don't. I'll also provide some tips along the way for how you might be able to improve certain elements of your setup without spending additional money. This is going to mainly cover needs for gaming, however I also do a somewhat decent amount of photography and videography. So if you want to see a more specific video on that in the future, just let me know in the comments. First, I'm going to cover the two most important and arguably most subjective pieces in your setup, your desk and your chair. I can already hear you typing a comment about how obvious this is, but just hear me out. Good quality purchases here will probably outlive everything else in your setup and save you a lot of mental and actual physical pain. The saying, buy once, cry once really applies here. This does not mean you need the most expensive option available. Just try not to get something that's going to end up in a landfill in a few short years. Make sure you get something that's stable, preferably with a design with feet that are connected rather than 4 separate feet. I made this mistake when buying a desk for myself at school, and now I have to wedge my desk against the wall and another drawer just to keep it from wobbling. Just learn from me and don't repeat my mistakes. I would also recommend getting a white desk as it tends to hide dust better than a darker colored one, but that's really just an aesthetic choice. For chairs, this is mostly personal preference. Ideally, you should sit in it for a while before you purchase, but I get that isn't always possible. Although I'm probably not the best person to look to for chair and desk advice, I can honestly recommend Ahnestly as a source of good unbiased information and reviews. I'll link his channel in the description. One thing you can do right now to improve your performance without buying a new desk and chair is to improve your posture and the angle which your arm makes contact with your desk. Let me explain. In a perfect world, you want to be using your arm to aim and your hands/fingers to make small adjustments. But you need to actually be able to move your arm on your desk to get to the right places to make those smaller adjustments. Although actual arm angle is highly debated, many people, myself included, try to aim for around a 90-degree angle, where you can rest the majority of your arm on the desk without needing an actual armrest attached to your chair. There's still plenty of very good aimers and pros who sit in unconventional ways, so at the end of the day it's really about finding what works for you. One thing that doesn't really matter, at least strictly for performance, is your keyboard. Once upon a time, the best budget options for gaming keyboards still had rattly stabilizers and somewhat atrocious build quality. But now, like many other peripherals, there are extremely good budget options. Almost all Hall effect boards will have a similar level of performance, and chasing fractions of a millisecond probably isn't a productive use of your time. HE switches are also rated to last pretty much forever and have less moving parts than mechanical switches. Although I will still say the best sounding mechanical switches sound better than the best sounding HE ones, the difference personally is not enough to warrant the performance loss. One thing that I will point to that I believe actually matters and can help you improve and overall have a better experience is a good mouse and mouse pad. Luckily for you, I just made an entire video about aim and also finding the right mouse and mouse pad for you, but in short, use Reddit and eloshapes.com to find something that fits your hand size and grip style. There is also a mouse pad comparison tool. As I mentioned in that video, it's extremely unlikely you're going to find your perfect mouse on a first purchase, so try and buy from somewhere with either a good return policy or secondhand through Facebook Marketplace or similar sites. Another item that doesn't really matter is your microphone, and I mean specifically your mic, not your headphones or IEMs or whatever you're using to listen to audio from. If you're doing tasks or creating content that require you to have decent microphone audio, obviously this doesn't apply to you. But for the majority of people, getting a cheap USB microphone or even a headset mic is probably fine. What most people online probably won't tell you is that microphone audio comes down primarily to EQ, and even cheap sounding mics can sound good, given the right treatment in post or with the proper filters applied using OBS. To give an example, here's my mic without any of the OBS filters that I use. Maybe not a massive difference, but I don't prefer it. I am by no means an expert on making your microphone audio sound better, but I will link some of the videos that help me figure out the right settings and filters to apply. This can all be done without spending extra money and can make a big difference. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on the topic. Leave any questions you have in the comments and I'll try and answer as many as I can. If you have anything you were really desiring a video on, please let me know. Hopefully I can make it happen. Peace.